everybody, and thank you very much for joining us once again. My name is Lydia Tate. I'm one of the Education Support Officers here in the city, and it's my great pleasure to be chatting with Edna Wilson, who has been School Administrator at Glashieburn Primary for over 8 years now. Edna has very kindly and generously agreed to give me some of her time just to talk a little bit about health and well-being and her thoughts around this really important subject that is even more important at this point in time. So very much welcome and thank you, Edna.
Thank you, Lydia, and thank you everyone who is listening today.
Great. Now, just to get the ball rolling, Edna, I'm going to ask you a fairly obvious question, but just to get your thoughts going, what do you currently do or think about to maintain your own health and well-being right now?
Well, I think when you're saying about the health and well-being, Lydia, initially when COVID had started and all the precautions, it was scary. And I did find it a little bit scary. So the obvious things, washing your hands. I'm a child, an Aberdonian, who was very much on the go at typhoid way back in the early 60s. I was about 9 at the time. So what the children are going through just now, washing hands in school, that was so much what was happening when, back then for me. So washing hands became secondary to us, and it's something that continues. So I do hope for everybody that it's something that continues on once we're well and past COVID. Also, don't laugh when I say this, but every day I take a vitamin C tablet and a vitamin D extra strength tablet, because it's been in the press quite a lot about vitamin D and how it reduces. And as you've probably worked out, because I was 9 in typhoid in the early 60s, I'm of the senior generation that when you do get to get the COVID jab, I'm up there going to get one quite quickly. So I do take those tablets, the vitamin C, vitamin D every day, and keep my fingers crossed, but just look after myself. But I don't take it I don't panic, and I'm no longer scared about it, because I think everybody else as well. Initially it was really, really scary, and maybe we all went a little bit over the top, but it's wear the mask, wash your hands, keep your distance. So it is a case of face, space, what's it, face, hands, space that they advertise in television?
Yeah, the facts. Yeah, that's great, Edna. And it's really interesting that you're saying that there's really true reflections on the typhoid scare and how that had impacted on people at that time. And I really do applaud you for taking your vitamins and things. That makes perfect sense to me. Absolutely. So well done. Okay, so let's think about your school setting then for a little bit, Edna. What do you see happening in terms of supporting health and well-being in the school, maybe for pupils or for staff? What have you been observing?
We're a very close team at Glashieburn, which I think is very, very good, because everybody has their own level of fear, level of how they want to, work around COVID, but you have to adhere to the rules. But there's a very strong common sense approach. And the best example I can give about that is that anything that has to come into the school, sometimes parents come in the morning, they've got a packed lunchbox, they've got a water bottle. So you go to the door, you wear your mask, you spray whatever's coming in. We use Fabulosa to make sure, and then it goes to the child and you spray it again because I've touched it. So you are actually working through every option that you can do to protect not just yourself, but everybody else as well. To let everybody understand, I wear hearing aids in both ears, so people do have to wear their masks. And there are times when I actually look at someone thinking, I honestly don't know what you're saying. That person, and it's happened on more than one occasion, not because I've asked them to, but they'll step right back, loosen the mask and say what they've got to say, which I am really, really grateful for, because we've all got to work around this the best way we can. And the staff are very much aware of how they need to apply the rules when it comes to me. But that's just for me. You know, there are other things as well for everybody else. So it's a case of find a workaround. And I think that is so good for the health and well-being, because that stopped my anxiety, wondering about what if I don't hear, what if I misinterpret someone, because it's really important in the school, you know, in the office, when you're relaying messages back and forward, make sure you've got that message clear. The pupils as well, you know, I think as time's gone on, and I think every school will find this, that the pupils have relaxed into it, and they're like little sponges. They soak it all up, and it's become almost like second nature, exactly as I was saying about myself in the typhoid era. It becomes second nature. You wash your hands, you know, they sanitize when they come in, they sanitize when they go outside, you know, lunchtime, break time, leaving the school at night. I feel that it has settled down and everybody's much more calm about everything.
Great. And I really appreciate you sharing something so personal there, Edna, so thank you very much. But I understand what you're saying, that the fact that the staff were aware of your difficulty in hearing and therefore stopped to think what they could do still within the parameters of the guidance that we're being given. And that's really great, because it's obviously alleviated a lot of your anxieties, but still maintained the protection that we need to do for each other. So that's a perfect example. Thank you very much indeed. So thinking about then, you know, you've said that you're careful with your common sense approach to the COVID pandemic, that you've taken care physically with your taking of your vitamins and things, that you're aware that that was a sensible and proactive thing to do for your own protection. Would there be one thing in particular that might be your main hint or tip for maintaining personal health and well-being through these difficult times?
I think there's probably one or maybe two words that sum it up for me, and that is to be flexible and be adaptable, and just change as you feel you need to change as this continues on.
That's just fabulous, Edna, and I think you're absolutely right. We have learned that we need to be adaptable, we have to have that flexibility, but still just bearing in mind the restrictions that we're being asked to maintain throughout.
Sorry there.
No,
yeah,
carry on.
You're absolutely right, Lydia. Yes, it is. It's, you know, you have to maintain the rules. The rules are there for a reason, and we've all got to adhere to them. But, you know, try and relax yourself.
I think those are very wise words indeed, Edna. And I'd really just like to thank you, because when I'm talking to different people about this very key area of health and well-being at the moment, everybody has a different take on it. And your take there has been very personal and very carefully thought through. And I really appreciate you taking the time to share that with me today. And I'm sure that those who are listening in will also have found that really interesting, but also just very wise words indeed. So many thanks, Edna.
You're more than welcome, and thank you for asking me to take part.
It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks again.